Are you thinking about quitting dry January, or have you already quit dry January? If so, this episode is for you. Hi, my name is Lise, and this is the Going Alcohol Free podcast. It is episode number 21. It's day number 21 of dry January. We are getting through the month. And if you are new here, I just want to say welcome, stick around. Even if you're not doing dry January, I know you're still going to receive benefit from these episodes, and we'll get started with regular episodes once dry January is over. And if you are a returning listener or watcher on YouTube, I just want to say thanks for being here. I really do appreciate you. The link is down in the show notes for the YouTube video if you prefer to watch the episode on YouTube. All right, this is why quitting is not an option for you. And I have 6 reasons for you why quitting is not an option for you. Number 1, you're not a quitter. You are not a quitter. I already know that about you, my listener. You finish what you start. I know that about you. I know that's who you are. So that's reason number 1. Number 2, your word is good. Yep. What you say to yourself, I know your word is good. You honor your word. Number 3, you are good at learning from your failures or your do-overs. Yep, I know that you are good at learning from your failures or your do-overs. And number 4, like Glennon Doyle says, she's the podcast host of We Can Do Hard Things. Yes, we can. We can do hard things. You can do hard things. I know that you can. And number 5, if you don't start again, what's the worst that could happen? If you don't start again, what's the worst that could happen? I love asking really good questions to myself and giving myself really good answers. It's definitely how I have learned to level up, and level up. Each time I ask myself better questions. So what I want you to do is to ask yourself, if I don't start again, what's the worst that could happen? And if you start again, what's the worst that could happen? If you did start again, what's the worst that could happen? I want you to answer those questions. I don't know the answer to those questions, but I know that you are not a quitter. I know that you honor your word. Your word is good. You started this challenge. I know that you can finish it. I know that you're good at learning from your failures. Like Glennon Doyle says, we can do hard things. And ask yourself really good questions. If I don't start again, what's the worst that could happen? And if I start again, what's the worst that could happen? So I really want you to ponder on those things. And how do we start again? Or how do we keep from not quitting? So those are some really good reasons for you to think about. I know that those are you. And here's how we'll think about getting started again. We're just going to start again. We're not going to overthink it. We're not going to beat ourselves up. We're just going to start again. That's it. It's that simple. We just start again. I want you to think about if you were learning how to walk on a balance beam, like gymnasts use a balance beam. And if you were learning how to walk on it and you fell down, well, you would just get back up onto the balance beam and continue to walk. And if you fell off it again, you would get back up on it and you would just do it again until you got to the end. And that's how I want you to think about dry January. We have 10 days left. And I know that you can do this. I know that you can do hard things. I also want you to think of it like, if you're listening to this in real time, the NFL playoffs are right now. And the way that these playoff teams think about the playoffs, it's a clean slate. It doesn't matter what their record is for the season, how many games they've lost, how many games they've won. It doesn't matter anymore. It's a clean slate. The playoffs, they just play and they keep playing until they don't win the game. And if they don't win, then their season is over. But it doesn't matter what happened in the past. It only matters what's happening right now in the playoffs. So they get to forget about their record. And for you get to think about how many days you were dry and how many days you were not dry. It's just a clean slate. That's what we're starting with today. Just a clean slate, just like the NFL playoffs. And I want you to imagine your best friend or your daughter, and maybe they're doing dry January and they want to quit, or they drank when they didn't want to drink and they were like, okay, well, what's the point? I quit. What would you say to them in this instance? What would be the words that you would use to encourage them to keep going? Well, as you think those words or those sentences that you would be saying to them, I want you to think of those words reflecting back to you. And really, you're being your biggest cheerleader and your biggest encourager. I know that you can do this. And I'm pretty sure that you know that you can do this. But do you want to do it? Remember, there's a difference between wanting and deciding and having, and you got to decide. So let's decide together right now that you're going to finish dry January strong. Let's do that right now. Let's set our daily intention for today, the rest of today, or tomorrow that I am alcohol free. I am alcohol free. And that's it. Like you just have said it. You set your intention. You are alcohol free. Let's do that together. Okay. I know that you can do this. I know that you can. And that is why you should not quit dry January. Those are the reasons. And now it's time for what I'm loving now. And this is the segment where I share something that I am absolutely loving. And I know that it will benefit you as well. Today's what I'm loving now is just a really simple quote. And I saw it on Tiny Buddha. And this is, let me just read it to you. It's great. Promise me not to hide yourself when you're in pain. It's unfair that we laughed together, but you cried alone. And it's unknown. This quote is from Unknown. Promise me not to hide yourself when you're in pain. It's unfair that we laughed together, but you cried alone. And I just thought it just touched my heart. And I had to share that with you for what I'm loving now. And in this last segment, I share my daily oracle card with you because I want you all to ponder on the message and tap into your intuition, because remember, your intuition will never steer you wrong. This is today's oracle card. I trust in my gifts. This is the front. This is the back. So pretty. It is a swirl of orange and yellow on the front with a star. I trust in my gifts. I always put a link in the show notes below if you're listening on the podcast so that you can actually see this card. This is from the Raise Your Vibration Oracle from Kyle Gray. And it's a really fun deck. Let me read. Oh, here's the back. It is rainbow colors in a circle with a star in the middle. And it looks like nighttime stars circling around the circle. Let me read this to you if you're feeling discouraged. This is the message for you today. You have a unique combination of skills and talents. There is no one in this world quite like you. All of the circumstances you have faced and all of the challenges you have overcome have allowed you to reach deep into yourself and uncover your strengths. For this reason, there are parts of your story that can be a great light to the world, tender aspects of your own inner healing and transformation that can act as inspiration for others, which is as it should be, because gifts aren't gifts unless they are shared. Sharing your gifts often takes confidence and bravery. But when you realize that you have the opportunity to be of light, service, and inspiration to others, it brings a whole new meaning to sharing the talents that you were born with and the skills that you have refined over time. If you've been asking the universe how you can be of greater use, tune into your story and realize whatever you have faced and overcome holds the key to embodying an even brighter light and shining it out into the world. Here's the vibe of the day. Sharing my unique story and skills is a gift to the world. Sharing my unique story and skills is a gift to the world. All right. That is today's episode. Remember, stay with this. Dry January. You can do it. You can do hard things. Honor your word. I promise you, it'll be worth it. All right. I will see you all tomorrow. Bye for now. Thanks for being here. Shine bright.